Lesson 4 of Chapter 3 talks about the slope-intercept form of a line. So up until now, we've talked about a few things. We've talked about that this, which stands for slope, and again, y and m stands for slope. I don't know. But we do have a formula for slope. y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So that we've talked about. We've also talked about the direct variation form of a line. Y equals mx, where we said that this was the slope. So today, whenever we talk about the slope-intercept form, it's just the direct variation form plus b. Now this b right here stands for an intercept. If you recall, the direct variation form always went through the origin. So it always went through the center. Well, now whenever we have a line, we're talking about ones that don't always go through the center. All right? So whenever we talk about, let's say, example 1 right here, the equation y equals 2/3 x minus 4. Y equals 2/3 x minus 4. Just looking at this, you're going to say that the y-intercept is negative 4, and the slope is 2/3. So once you get it in slope-intercept form, it's supposed to be a y equals mx plus b. The one in front of the x, 2/3, is the slope. And then we've got the one at the end, or the sign has to go with it. The one at the end, even though it says plus b, it could be plus or minus. So the y-intercept is negative 4. So I want you to just try these a, b, and c, and I just want you to tell me slope is, so you can say m equals, so slope is, and y-intercept is. So if you want to use the b equals, you can do that, or you can actually write out the words. Slope, make sure you're putting an e on it. Slope equals blank, or y-intercept equals blank. Either one of those would work. So pause it and try that, please. All right, so back with me, this first one, y equals negative 5x plus 3. I would say that the slope is negative 5, y-intercept 3. B, slope 1/4, y-intercept negative 6. Make sure you are taking that negative with it. On C, the slope, anytime you don't see a number in front of a letter, remember you assume that it's a 1. So the slope is negative 1, and the y-intercept is a positive 5. So once they are in slope-intercept form, it's pretty easy to pick out which are which. All right, let's go on down here. This thing hates me. Come on, honey. Where are we even at? A unit project. Whoo! This skipped like all the way to the chapter review. I'm going to stop it and find my page. Whew. Okay. Back with it. We were all the way at the end of the chapter. How that happened, I don't know. Anyway, we're back where we're supposed to be. Example 2, write an equation of a line in slope-intercept form. Remember, slope-intercept form looks like this, where this one is the slope, and this one is the y-intercept. Okay, it wants it in this format with a slope of negative 3 and a y-intercept of negative 4. All it simply wants you to do is fill in the blank. So you will have a line that has some blank spots in it that looks like this. And it says that the slope is negative 3, so that's my one in front of the x. And my y-intercept is negative 4, so that means it's a minus 4. Number 3, write an equation in slope-intercept form for the graph shown. So you have to be able to look. Now, I want you to remember exactly what does slope and y-intercept mean. Well, y-intercept is where this crosses the y-axis. So if you look at this line right there, it crosses the y-axis right here. So that is a 1, 2, 3, 4, positive 4. I know it's going to be something x, and then I've got something else back here. So if it is a positive 4, then that means this is plus 4. And the slope, just going from points that I know, like this one right here is 0, 4. And let's say this point right here would be a positive 1, 2, up 1, 2, 3. 2, 3. Now I could do the slope formula if I wanted to. The y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Or I could simply count. You know that the line is going down, so that means my slope is going to be negative. Negative what? It goes down 1 over 2. So if it goes down 1 over 2, remember, rise over run. So it would fall down 1 over 2. That's my slope. So I would not mess with this as long as I had a graph that I could just count. I mean, you can, and if you did that, you would get the same thing. Y2 minus y1, 4 minus 3 would be 1 over. And then you've got x2 minus x1 would be 2, and you know that this is going down, so it would be negative. Okay, so with that, let's move on to the next. Hopefully we won't go all the way to the chapter review. I'm not really sure how far we moved down. I hope that was just it. And of course it went a little far. Okay, so let's try these. Under got it. So pause it and try D and E. All right, back with me. Write an equation in slope-intercept form for the graph shown. So remember, slope-intercept form, we're just going to fill in the blanks. We know we've got a y equals something x, and then we've got our y-intercept. So on this graph shown, what is the y-intercept? Right here, so that is down 2, so the y-intercept is negative 2. So the slope to get from one point to the next. Let's see, these lines aren't really showing up the best on here. Let me see if I can put them in here for you. Okay, so to get from, they've got this point and they've got this point right here labeled. So to get from those 2 points, you know that it's going to go up, so it's going to be positive. Positive 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 over 1, 2, 3. Positive 5/3 x minus 2 is the equation of that line. E, write an equation of a line in slope-intercept form with a slope of 3/4 and a y-intercept of negative 3. So again, we just take our basic form and fill in the blanks. So it says our slope is 3/4, so we put a 3/4 in front of it. And our y-intercept is negative 3, so it's minus 3. Done. All right, let's move on. Example 4. This is just on interpreting them. It's saying that the student council is selling t-shirts during Spirit Week. It costs $20 for the design and $5 to print each shirt. The cost Y to print X shirts is given by Y equals 5X plus 20. So if you look at this, here's what it's saying. You're going to pay this $20 no matter what. That's the design. And then you're paying $5 for each shirt. That's basically the slope. 5 is the slope because it's 5 times. It will rise 5 for every shirt you print. Rise 5 for every shirt you print. So find the slope and y-intercept of that. So the slope is obviously a 5. The y-intercept, it would cross at 20. And then if it said to graph it, well, you would start at your y-intercept and go up 5 over 1, up 5 over 1, up 5 over 1. All right, so let's just move on from there. Let's look at some guided practice. Oh, Liam. Liam is my favorite boy. He is reading a 254-page book for school. He can read 40 pages in 1 hour. The equation for the number of pages he has left to read is y equals 254 minus 40x, where x is the number of hours he reads. State the slope and y-intercept of the graph. Now, something should stand out to you on this, is that so far we've done slope-intercept formed in it, and it has looked like this. Notice this right here is written a little backwards. So all you will have to do is switch it. But now when you switch it, see how that negative goes with the 40? You will have to take the negative 40 with it. So should read y equals negative 40x, and then there's a positive 254, so plus 254. Okay, that's just my equation written. Now it says state the slope. Slope right here. So m equals negative 40. The y-intercept right back here. So y-intercept, don't just put a y. If you're going to write a y, you need to write y and then make it int. Otherwise, you might think it's like a y coordinate. Or you could just use b for slope-intercept. Sorry, for the y-intercept. And that would just be positive 254. Okay, if we were going to graph this equation, we would start up here on 254, which would be a total guess, but about right here. And the slope is negative 40, which means you'd go down 40, go down 40 over 1, down 40 over 1, down 40 over 1. And again, that big numbers are kind of hard to graph, but that's what that would mean. Okay, example 2. Let's move on down here. And once again, it hates me. Come on, honey. All right, write an equation in slope-intercept form for the graph shown. So you need to identify two things. You need to identify the slope and the y-intercept. Y-intercept pretty easily picked out. Right here. It's the point where the line crosses the y-intercept. So if it crosses at negative 6, then the y-intercept equals negative 6. And I'm going to go ahead and just write it's supposed to be y-intercept, not a y equals. Okay. So y-intercept is negative 6, and the slope to get from this point to this point. Again, you can use the slope formula if you wish, or you could simply count. You know it's going to go up, so it's going to be positive. And it goes up 1, 2, 3, 4. So it goes up 4 and over 1, 2, 3. So the slope is 4/3. Okay, so with that, that is the lesson. I would highly, highly suggest that you have the slope-intercept form in your notes more than once. Write down what M stands for, write down what B stands for, write down that sometimes you're going to have to switch it. In the case of if the slope does not come first, you may have to rearrange the equation like we did in the last example. So lots of things for your notes. If you don't write them down, it'll probably be a little hard. If you do write them down, you should have an easy time. So good luck with that, and I'll talk to you about it tomorrow.